So if you've got a short amount of yarn that you just want to make a 2-ply and you've spun it onto a bobbin, this is a technique that's great for sampling, great for just finishing off the ends of bobbins, great for making mini skeins. You've got one end here and the other end is buried underneath all the yarn that's on that bobbin. We need to get those two ends lined up at the same point and basically not end up in a tangled mess, and that's what a plying bracelet does. It's not an Andean plying bracelet because it's not a technique that's used by the people who live in the Andes. It's just a plying bracelet. Okay, and to do that we're going to do something which weavers use regularly to stop things tangling. We're going to use something called a cross. So that's the important thing to remember, is that you're always wrapping it around your wrist, and however you wrap it you're putting a cross into it. So this is the way that I do it. It's the way I teach it in workshops. It's the simplest method of doing it. There are various more complicated ways that some people prefer. I like this way because I can reliably do it. So you take your end of yarn that's coming off your bobbin, and to make sure you don't lose it, wrap it around your thumb a few times because it's very easy for that end to disappear into the pile of the other yarn. From that thumb, you then go round the back of your hand like that. We're now back round at the front, and we now go up to our middle finger, and we go round the back of that middle finger, and we've now formed our first cross. You're always wrapping around your hand in the same direction. In this case we're always going clockwise, okay, apart from the bit where we go round that finger. So we're now back at the beginning, and now rather helpfully we've got a path set up, and because we've only got one cross just there, it's really easy for us to follow that path and not end up getting lost. So from our thumb round the back of our hand to the side by our little finger, from our little finger up to our middle finger, from that middle finger we go to the far side of it, the side closest to our first finger, round the back of that middle finger, back round to the front, and we go back over to our thumb. We're back at the beginning again. So once you get going, it's a movement that can be very easily done without too much concentration, without too much effort. The most important thing, do not wrap around that middle finger too tightly, because otherwise if you've got a lot of yarn it ends up going numb because you've cut off the blood supply. And it also makes it very hard to do the next step, which is going to mean that these bits of yarn have got to come off this finger. So what I like to do is I like to wrap it round higher up on the finger, then go to the thumb, and then it will just naturally slide its way down, and it will therefore have a certain amount of looseness wrapped into it. You'll see I'm also holding my thumb out to put some tension, because that means if I bring my thumb forward, I've now put some slack into the system. So it's not a technique for using for large amounts of yarn, but it works very well for supplying smaller amounts of yarn. So we'll go through that again from the beginning. Now you've seen me do it at full speed. Thumb all the way around the back of your hand to your little finger, from your little finger round to the front, up to your middle finger. You're not going around that way, you go to the side by your forefinger, your first finger, round the back of your middle finger, and we've made a cross. Now that cross there is going to keep those threads in exactly the right order, even when we take them off and they're no longer under tension. We go round and round. So you can see once you get going, you can start to go quite fast. So I'll slow down again so you can see it. Round the back, up, round your middle finger, and down again. So the cross is only ever in one place. You'll see some methods where you do a wrap around your finger and you go back round the other way. This way is the simplest one that I found. It's the one that I found that most people can pick up if they've never done this technique before. And we're now coming up to our end. There we go. It's a bit of random fluff from the last time I used the wheel. So we've now got our end off our bobbin and our end here. Keep hold of that end. Untuck the end from round your thumb if you've wrapped it tightly. Okay, poke our thumb back through there, and we now need to bend this middle finger forwards, and we need to slide this pile of yarn off here like that. So we've got our two ends, find it again, that end and this end. The yarn's being held in the right order from that cross, and it can slide to around your wrist like a bracelet, or if you need to stop and go away and do something else, phone rings, you can just slide the whole lot over a wine bottle or any other thing you've happened to have hanging about the place. And that's ready for plying, which is what I'm going to show you how to do next. So having wound our plying bracelet, it's now round our wrist like a bracelet. Now I tend to ply with my left hand at the front and my right hand at the back. That means I need this plying bracelet on my back hand, so it's dead easy to swap it over. All you do, just slide your hand through like that. It's the same as if you're going to transfer it for storage onto something else until you're ready to start plying. Now that's on my back hand, I'm now in a position where I can ply with my hands in the usual way. If you can wind it round your right hand and you know you want it on your plying hand, there's no reason why you can't do that. But I can't seem to manage to teach my hands to work to wind the plying bracelet on the hand that I need it on for plying. So all I do is swap it over, because why make life more complicated? So I've now got both ends. There's the end that was wrapped around my thumb, and there was the end that was coming off the bobbin. We'll just poke this through the leader. We set the wheel going in the direction we would normally use for plying. Okay, and from this point it's just like plying off two bobbins. Okay, let's let all that get on there, and I'm going to slide this plying bracelet forward slightly off my wrist so I can hold it between my hands like that, and so the ends that are coming off are closer to my fingers, because I want to be putting this under tension, because these are freshly spun singles, so they're quite active. And you can see that it feeds off the plying bracelet really nice and easily. Now some people do it as like a waving motion. I tend to do it more from the side. So it tends to be that kind of motion, and then your hands have to move back, and these two fingers are just taking these two strands and pinching with my thumb, using my other fingers of my hand just to hold everything nicely under tension. If your singles aren't so fresh, you won't need to work quite so hard as this. Same as if you're plying off fresh bobbins. The only reason for leaving singles to go stale is to just let the twist rest. So we're there, we can pull it off, bring that hand round, hold those two singles under tension. You can open up that finger, and because we've put that twist in, we should have no problem at all with it feeding off. And you keep going like that until the entire plying bracelet is empty.